Welcome back to the Nash Potatoes Outdoor Show. Today, two fixed blade knives are going to face off in a cutting competition. It will be the Camillus Mask 9-inch knife versus the Odenwolf W1 9.4-inch knife. First, we'll have 3 cutting tests. Then I'll give you some details about each of the knives, followed by 4 more cutting tests. I've been brainstorming this video for a few months now, so I hope you like it. As you can see, both of these knives are pretty evenly matched as far as size and weight goes. They both feel pretty good in the hand. I've had the Camillus one for quite a while now. I do sharpen it occasionally. The Odenwolf is a brand new knife for me. Alright, first cutting test is going to be this cardboard. This is the Camillus 9-inch knife. I'm just going to try to slice through this cardboard a couple times. And there's the second cut. As you can see, I did get through the cardboard both times. Now we're just going to watch it again. This is the GoPro camera, just a different angle. Same exact knife. First cut and the second cut. Alright, now this is the Odenwolf W1 9.4-inch knife. This is the video with my handy cam, cut number 1, cut number 2, and then we're going to watch it again with the GoPro. As you can see, it cut it in about half the time. Really smooth slices. Alright, this next cutting test is probably the most impressive out of all of them. I probably should have put it first. What I'm doing is taking this rope and I am folding it in half a bunch of times until we get 8 sections of rope I'm going to try and cut through. And the first up is going to be the Camillus knife. If you're interested, that is Mount Blanca in the background in southern Colorado. Alright, here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4, and finally 5. Took me 5 cuts to get through that 8 sections of rope. And now we're going to do the same thing with the Odenwolf W1. So there you see 2 strands, 4 strands. One more fold gives us 8 strands. And here we go. One cut, got all the way through. I was super surprised by that. I was expecting it was going to take a few cuts. Alright, now this is the same cutting test. This is the GoPro, and just basically a replay for you. This is the Camillus. Gives you a little bit different angle. There's the first, 2, 3, 4, and 5. And now we'll watch it using the Odenwolf W1. Boom. Alright, this next cutting test is going to be a couple of bungee cords. To be honest, I wasn't sure if they would cut through the bungee cords at all. First up is the Camillus. It just kind of slipped off that first time. And there we go. Now we'll do the same thing using the Odenwolf W1. Just like butter. Now I want to show it to you again with the GoPro. This is the Camillus. And then the Odenwolf W1. Now I want to show you something really interesting. I did a still shot for each of the cuts based on one frame before it actually cut the bungee cord. And as you can see on the left, the Camillus pulled down a bit further than the Odenwolf did, obviously meaning that the knife is a bit sharper. And I thought that was interesting to see the still frames of these two, because it was noticeable that the Odenwolf cut through a bit easier, but I wasn't sure exactly how to quantify that. And I think this still shot kind of does that a bit. All right, now I wanted to show you some of the details of each of these knives side by side. It shows, compares them pretty well, I thought. So the website price for the Camillus is $25. And the website price on the Odenwolf is right around $30. The Amazon reviews is super interesting because both of them get 4.6 stars and both of them have right around 850 reviews. So the blade materials are a little bit different. For the Camillus, it's the 420 stainless steel. For the Odenwolf, it's the 440C alloy steel. There's something called a hardness scale, Rockwell hardness scale, and the Camillus comes in at 54, whereas the Odenwolf comes in at 58. The knife weight, it appears the Odenwolf is just a little bit lighter. We'll go down to the total length. The Odenwolf, as you know, is just a little bit longer. And the blade thickness, we're talking 0.094 inches versus 0.12 inches, meaning the Odenwolf is just a tad thicker blade. The handle material is different. The Camillus has an ABS plastic handle, whereas the Odenwolf has what's called a TPE handle, Thermoplastic Elastomer, which is a combination of plastic and rubber, which I quite like. I actually recently picked up 3 knives from Odenwolf. I got the W1, W2, and W3. So there will be some upcoming videos testing both the W2 and W3. I wanted to show you the unboxing of this W1 because it's packaged so nicely. There's a little info packet in there as well as a cloth to keep your knife nice and clean. As you've seen, it comes with a nice sheath as well. And if you want to purchase one of these knives, you can go to Odenwolf.us and save 10% by using discount code NASH10. All right, this next cutting test is going to be a spare piece of drywall that I had laying around. I wasn't sure if either of these knives would cut through it, but we're about to find out. So the first puncture didn't go so well, but the second one penetrated. And as you can see, doesn't do that great of a job cutting through the drywall, but it definitely gunked up my knife a bit. Now this is going to be the Odenwolf knife. It does a better job at puncturing, but still doesn't really cut that great. And I'll show it to you again on the GoPro. Might be a little bit better picture of the cutting process. So here's the GoPro with the Camillus. Didn't really go anywhere, but I wasn't sure if it would cut through the drywall anyway. This one is the Odenwolf. As you can see, I was able to puncture it on the first shot. It cuts a little bit, but not much. Alright, this next cutting test is going to be a couple of bamboo sticks that I had laying around. First up is going to be the Camillus. Boom. So in this test, as you will see, the Camillus actually appears to have made a little bit of a cleaner cut. And I think that might actually be because the Camillus blade is just a little bit thinner. So I think it was actually better suited for this competition. This is the Odenwolf. And after this cut, I will show you the ends of the bamboo. And you'll see the Camillus did get just a little bit cleaner cut. And then we'll see it again on the GoPro. So the Camillus is on the left, the Odenwolf is on the right, and you can see it got a cleaner cut. We'll watch it again on the GoPro, and I'll actually slow it down as I go through the cutting motion. That's the Camillus. It cut it clean in half, whereas the Odenwolf actually just kind of broke it in half. There we go. All right, this next test, I'm going to attempt to cut through these really heavy-duty supplement bottles. I wasn't quite sure how I was going to perform this test. The first one is the Camillus. I ended up just puncturing and then cutting around the outside. They were extraordinarily thick bottles, and so I thought, well, this would be a good test. As you can see, it did a pretty good job cutting right through. As I mentioned in the previous test, that Camillus blade is a little bit thinner and might be really well suited for a cutting test like this. This is the Odenwolf. I tried to kind of cut it with the blade at first. It wasn't really going. The bottle just kind of collapsed, and so then I punctured it and cut around the outside. And as you can see, the Odenwolf did a pretty good job there as well. We'll see it again with the GoPro, a little bit different angle, a little bit more of a close-up. If you're interested in the wildlife out here in southern Colorado, I've been posting some pretty cool videos of the pronghorn antelope and some of the birds and some of the rabbits as well. Now this is the Odenwolf. There we go. All right, this is the final cutting test, and these are simply some cottage cheese containers. Wasn't quite sure how I was going to perform this test, and the containers were really quite brittle actually. This is the Camillus. I'll cut down one side and then cut down the other side. It was fairly easy cutting test for both of these knives, as the plastic was fairly thin and fairly brittle. And this next one will be the Odenwolf. You can see my GoPro sitting there on that red table if you're curious about that. Cut down one side, cut down the other. And there you go. So I'll show it to you on the GoPro as well. This is the Camillus. And then again with the Odenwolf knife. And there it is. Anyway, that's all I've got for you today. Thanks for watching the Nash Potatoes Outdoor Show. I hope you enjoyed this video. I will be doing 2 more videos using the Odenwolf W2 and the Odenwolf W3. And if you're interested in purchasing any of these knives, you can simply go to odenwolf.us and save 10% by using discount code NASH10. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.